Greetings and warm regards to all my dear companions. I hope all of you are doing well. Before anything else, I ask my higher spirit to be with me, to be within me, and to guide me. Many friends and people who are on YouTube are with me, or with those who do similar things. People often come up and ask me exactly why it is that I don't just directly state my personal political beliefs right away and be completely open about them. To begin with, I must state with a great deal of pride and conviction that I do not ever involve myself or participate in the world of politics at all. I don't like politics and I don't like politicians. To me, they are a complete group of liars and hypocrites. And if they have reached the very top of their fields, it means they are not entirely honest individuals, in my opinion. I should say that I have a complete and total lack of political knowledge to be able to formulate or articulate a meaningful perspective about politics. I must admit that a very similar situation applies to the field of economics. But regardless of any comments I might happen to make about the world, about politics and economics, is based on astrology or ancient astronomy and without having any information about them. Within these professional fields, I closely monitor and analyze various shifting political and economic trends by applying astrology. And I have faith in my own beliefs, in my own data, through my own intuition, which has been with me since childhood. I usually don't read books. The books I have read were mostly up until I was about 10 years old. I read a lot. I was an avid reader, and I read every book that came my way. But after that, I would get the energy from a book or from a speaker within 2 minutes. And I either confirm it or reject it. Therefore, personally, I try to stay away from the media, from the news, from all those who are political and religious leaders. As much as possible, I try to avoid them and not even listen to what they say, because I don't want the data that is given to me to get mixed together. Or even if I approve of someone and accept their words, and they become a spiritual authority for me, I usually try to respect them, listen to them, and recommend them to others, but I don't take it too much for myself. Because I don't want my data, that is, I don't want anything to influence my data. To be honest, I've never been in a political party. I don't belong to any religion. I'm not with the leftists, not with the rightists, none of them. I don't see myself as part of any of them, because for me, all politics and religions have much deeper roots than what we see, and I'll gradually clarify this either in this video or in other videos, what I mean by this whole thing. In general, someone whose third eye is open, which mine has been since childhood, and actually all children have it open, but I managed to keep mine open. And this also has its own teachings, which I've talked about in previous videos, and maybe in future videos I'll talk about how we can open our third eye. But even for those who don't have it open, I promise you that within the next 5 years, by 2030, maybe in 4 years, most people on Earth will have their third eye opened. Kundalini will start to become active, and hopefully, with the help of the great creator, the chakras will all become active at the same time. Maybe all of us. I see through my third eye, and I try to keep myself completely separate from the matrix world. I've been doing this since childhood, even without realizing it. I was opposed to all these religious powers, political powers, and for myself, the data I was given, many of which didn't make sense to me, I believed in them. I had faith in them. And as I said, I'm sure that society as a whole is moving in that direction too, because we humans were created this way. But the matrix world, advertisements, television, schools, universities, parents, upbringing, and cultural traditions, all of these keep us this way. That is, We only see this much. We only see with these two eyes, and we hear with these two ears. Whereas to reach the truth of the universe, these two eyes and ears are not necessary. In fact, they need to be closed so that we can connect to our source and receive what is higher than us, the one who guides us, our higher soul, the one who is more evolved than us and has sent us here. In this society we live in, whether consciously or unconsciously, we become involved in political matters. It's not that I'm unaware of the world. After all, anyone living in this world knows what's going on here. But I don't look at it from a political or religious perspective. I look at it from a spiritual perspective, from the standpoint of how my soul perceives things, what the energy of that person is. And when we work with energy, for me, it's not necessary to have read a book, to sit and read 4 pages in order to form an opinion about something. When I read 2 pages of a book, and there are many people like me in the world, and as I said, we're all moving in that direction, putting the matrix aside and listening to ourselves, to our inner selves, to our souls. When I look at or read 2 pages of a book, I pick up on the energy of the author between the lines. Whether this person is honest, whether this person is genuine, what they're really talking about, music, or whether this man or woman is just marketing, taking advantage, or if they're themselves caught up in these religions and politics. Religion, in my opinion, is humanity, good behavior, good deeds, good words. This is my religion. And absolutely everything that supports the whole of humanity, regardless of a person's culture, their religion, the color of their skin, the language they speak, or their country of origin. For me, that is what truly matters. This is sacred. This is my religion. This is my faith. I believe in humanity, not anything else, not those things that other people have come to believe through brainwashing and false beliefs. And here we want to break all of this down to see how we can easily understand whether the energy of this person on YouTube is genuine, or if it's just marketing or deceit, or if they're trying to manipulate you. They only ever give you 2% of the truth, just like what they do in the news, and then they steer you in the direction they want. Or in all Hollywood movies, they talk about a truth that we recognize and are eager to know more about, and then they guide you toward where they want you to go. But when we have the power of discernment, everything becomes much easier. There will no longer be conflicts between 2 brothers, no conflicts between 2 religions, no conflicts between left and right. It won't matter anymore whether the king comes or the republic comes, or this one or that one, because all of these are fabricated, all of these are far from the truth. Those who sit up there separate us from each other and try to sow more fear and discord between borders, civilizations, and countries, and with war, they spread fear everywhere. They are the ones who create all of this. They ruthlessly kill our loved ones, our dear brothers, and with easy money, they add to their own pleasure and joy. All of these are people who themselves have been exploited by someone even higher up, and these are the confusions and bewilderments that have been created for humanity. But their time is over. Pluto is in Aquarius. And the powerful conjunction of Uranus will finally put a definitive end to all of these persistent illusions. Within the next 4 or 5 years, actually even sooner than that, within just 3 years, well before these 7 years are fully up, We will collectively create a world that is far beyond our current imagination, a world entirely free of lies, darkness, misery, and suffering, a world without war, weapons, or killing. Those individuals who invite you to engage in war from the very beginning, you should know with certainty that such a person is absolutely not worthy for you to learn from or to listen to at all. And the entire world is steadily moving in that specific direction toward a brand new era where people govern themselves, where compassion, empathy, fairness, justice, and honesty will all finally return to humanity across the entire surface of the earth. We are now putting a final end to 2,600 years of history. The age of Apam, the age of Pisces, is ending. We are entering the age of Aquarius. Aquarius means lightning, it means spark, it means justice, it means love, it means equality, and no one will be above others anymore. Absolutely no single individual will ever consider themselves superior to me to tell me what I must do. Nor will a small group of people in tightly sealed, secretive backrooms make life-altering decisions for us, claiming to help us while they are actually instigating violent fratricide within our own countries. War belongs to a bygone old age. War simply means pure savagery, and it has absolutely nothing to do with the enlightened civilization of the age of Aquarius. Now, those who offer these complex political and economic interpretations are all hidden behind these sophisticated words, systematically brainwashing your minds. And those astrologers who continue to Those individuals who spend their time chanting slogans like, "Long live so-and-so, long live so-and-so," or those who constantly talk about guns, weapons, and cannons, either simply don't know anything about the science of astrology, or they are completely trapped within the illusions of the world of the Matrix, saying various things that truly have no actual basis in the positions of the stars. In this new age of Aquarius, the era where a common bully, a power-hungry politician, or a fascist government rules over the lives of people does not exist anymore. I personally haven't seen professional astrologers bring their own personal beliefs into this serious matter and connect them to the celestial positions of the stars. We have now fully entered the age of Aquarius. Pluto is currently destroying, removing, and completely eliminating all of these old things in order to build a brand new world that is far more beautiful than anything we have seen in the previous 2,600 years. But as I have always said to you before, the process of tearing down the old house doesn't just happen overnight. It naturally takes a couple of years for this total collapse to occur. Economic, cultural, financial, religious, and political systems all have to completely fall apart. And then, only after we've thoroughly cleansed them, can we finally build a very strong system on top of them. And this time, the house won't be a fragile house of cards built on the sandy shore, always ready to collapse, but rather it will be a house built with heavy cement and solid concrete, incredibly solid and strong, and all of our future generations will surely enjoy it for a long time to come. And how can we tell whether someone is being honest in what they say, or if they themselves are trapped in this matrix world? Or maybe they're working for them, or unconsciously don't know what they're doing. Or it is also possible that they are quite consciously and deliberately trying to influence other people's specific way of thinking. The very best example I can possibly give you is to imagine that someone has just received a wonderful gift. It is presented in a very beautiful, elegant box from the most famous and best-known jewelry store in the city. But hidden inside is actually a cheap fake ring, and they proudly bring it home to show the entire family. Everyone picks it up and gives their opinion. This is our world, Salam. That's why families fight. That's why countries fight with each other. That's why they can rule over us more. They can sell more weapons. They can exploit us because each of us sitting around the table as a family picks up this ring. And one, based on the fact that the box is a jeweler's, says how beautiful it is, that it's real gold set with brilliant stones. It's great. Another one looks and says, for example, it's worth this much, and someone else says no. It's worth much more than that. And then they start arguing. They're arguing over a piece of jewelry, even though none of them are jewelers, none of them are gem experts, and none of them are appraisers. Then someone comes in from a jewelry store, someone who knows both brilliance and gold. And in just 2 minutes, not only does he say that this isn't genuine, but that it's fake. He even shows you what a real one looks like. And then he says to me, look closely. This piece is 18 karat. This one here is 24 karat. And this final piece is absolutely pure gold. Why does he do that? Because he truly knows his job inside and out. He is definitely not just guessing about it. He's not just sitting there like someone uninformed who's only listened to the news, saying things like, because it was bought from this jeweler, or it was in this box, or so-and-so had it in their hand, so this must be really expensive. We live in a world like this. We don't know anything about jewelry, we don't know anything about diamonds, but we're political commentators, we're religious commentators, we promote religious propaganda. We insult one political party and support another one without any real understanding, without any real knowledge. Why is that? Because we simply don't know anything else at all. All we see is that this ring looks truly beautiful and elegant, really clean, and it's in the box of a very famous and well-known jeweler. But we have absolutely no clear understanding about what is contained within its mysterious depths. And we do not even take the necessary time to bother to either become a professional jeweler ourselves or just simply remain completely silent. One of the poisons in society are those people who know nothing about politics. They either hoist up high other people's flags or set them ablaze, but they possess absolutely no real knowledge or understanding about this precious jewel, and yet they still express their opinions. It's exactly the same thing. It is the identical situation when it comes to the world of politics too. But if we simplify things, meaning if we know the truth, where did it even come from? What are these movements? Just like that jeweler, we can easily, from someone's energy or from just a couple of words they say, figure things out. We can determine and identify exactly who this person is, even in situations where we are unable to clearly perceive their specific role. And it is a very fortunate thing that, as I have mentioned before, our world is steadily moving toward a state of greater love and awareness. From now on, we won't be deceived anymore. We won't let them take advantage of our ignorance or lack of awareness. And those who have become aware, they easily divide things into just 2 categories. There are only 2 categories, 2 groups. One human being has absolutely no sense of hostility or any form of conflict with another person. There are some people. They created these things for us. Like, I'm friends with this country and we want to go to war with that country. When we understand the true nature of these things, we become like that jeweler who, with just one look at you, he says, this diamond, how much clarity does it have, and how many spots or dark points are inside it? And not everyone has the same level of awareness. But when we look at the very essence of our being, the fundamental point is that every human being is inherently sacred and divine. Humans are naturally pure and good. It is just that humans are simply unaware of their own true nature and potential. Before I start this discussion, I want to emphasize again that everything I say, they are not based on other people's writings, nor are they copied from others, nor taken from others' data. I have faith in my own data. Since the year 2000, I have been waiting for the year 2026. That is, 26 years ago, I predicted these things, and those who were with me and know me are aware that I used to talk about these things, and 99% of them did not believe it. And in 2020, when I said again that we are entering a different world and it will happen, the world before 2020 and the world after 2020, and I wrote my book in which I had made all these predictions. Do I have a reference for you to say where this comes from? No, I don't. It's from myself. I didn't learn it from anyone else. But what has been within me since childhood has come true. And there are many people like me, as I say. Unfortunately, many end up in psychiatric hospitals because they take pills and they think these things are ambiguous, but many people are aware. They know themselves that they know the truth, and they don't pay much attention to these appearances that are like a jewelry box. They don't look at the box itself. Since I was a child, I learned that the box can be changed. The jewelry box can be thrown away. Look at the jewel itself. And when you look at the jewel, then you must. If you don't know yourself, you should take it to a jeweler to have it examined. This is the reality of our society. Otherwise, even in the face of all these overwhelming challenges and issues, they still relentlessly push us toward a state of deep misery. They drive us into the depths of despair, to crying and bitter lamenting, and eventually we inevitably end up as victims. This is the art of awareness, and awareness is spreading everywhere like electricity. If you've listened to my previous videos, if you've heard me in places where I've been a guest, if you've read my book, or if you know me personally, you know that I have only learned the easiest and shortest way, and I try to teach this to all my students, whether in my private classes or in my consultations. Otherwise, there are thousands upon thousands of customs that say you have to go to a psychologist to fix yourself, and there are countless problems that will never be resolved in us because this cultural system this has been deeply ingrained and prevalent in our society for many hundreds of years. Those who have designed this system are the ones who want to keep people in ignorance, those who rule from above, whom we don't even know. We only know their servants as our leaders, but they themselves belong to an even higher group. They have created all this for us and want us to always remain unaware because slavery means ignorance. Once you become aware, you are no longer a slave. You can no longer be manipulated by them, and they can no longer feed off your energy. So cultivating awareness is the only path for humanity to be saved. They can no longer incite conflict between two groups. Either you are an exploiter and belong to the group of darkness, or you are exploiting people. If they want to exploit others, they have to create conflict among them. And our entire system has been built on this for over 2,000 years. Those who see us as worker ants, their time has come to an end. Now, whether it's in a couple of years, more or less, It depends on the level of awareness and love, on how quickly the world's population reaches awareness. They are doing everything they can to keep us enslaved, to keep us in fear and anxiety. And so they can use our energy for their own survival. Before we continue, let me just mention as a side note that if some of what I'm saying right now seems a bit confusing or doesn't quite make sense to you, please feel free to go back and watch my previous videos. I have carefully built everything up from the very fundamental basics, explaining things very simply from the very beginning, and now we are gradually moving on to much more complex and advanced subject matter. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, it might not be immediately clear exactly what I'm talking about today. There is someone who says, "We deliberately started a war because another innocent country was being oppressed, and we truly want to go there to liberate and assist them." There is absolutely no honesty in this statement. They strike secret bargains and negotiate with each other behind closed doors, while our innocent children are sent off as soldiers and lose their lives on the battlefield. You have never seen that if someone genuinely and wholeheartedly believes in a cause. They would lead by example and send their own child first. Why is it that, throughout the long and bloody course of human history, their own children have never once been the ones to go to war? Instead, they sit up there and send our children to war. So anyone who talks about war is part of the dark group. Now, to clarify, let's see how we can identify who belongs to the group of darkness and who belongs to the group of light. This ongoing war is between the group of light, which represents all of humanity, and the group of darkness, an entity which I will explain in much greater detail in my future videos. To make it simple for you to truly understand what the group of darkness is doing, imagine that you first had a very clean, pristine house. When a child is first born into this world, they are perfectly clean. The child is innocent, their mind is completely clean, their soul is untainted, and their heart is entirely pure. All of us humans were originally born this way and were supposed to remain in this state forever. But the group of darkness came along with a different plan, and they are currently, for the sake of their own survival, they deliberately made us feel dirty. They polluted our very essence. They systematically filled our conscious minds with all kinds of conflicting good and bad thoughts. Imagine you once had a pristine and beautiful house, and over a long period of time, two massive, intricate spider webs start to slowly but surely cover the entire house. This is exactly what they have done to our minds over the years. In this old house where people live, there's this mysterious, intricate spider web, and no one has ever seen or even knows what's hidden right in the very center of it. In the middle, much like the Queen Mother in a busy beehive, absolutely no one ever dares to get close to the Queen Mother. Instead, we see the other bees. Right in the middle is the spider web. There is a specific group that is currently laying down deep roots, constantly making intricate veins, spinning complex threads, and creating vital links. Meanwhile, on the very other side of the room, another spider is doing exactly the same thing. The ultimate goal is that since there is a long-standing war between these two factions, let us say, for example, that one group is the Anunnaki and the other is the reptilians. They themselves are perpetually at war, constantly fighting over the question of who truly owns all of humanity. The ancient Anunnaki firmly maintained the belief that since they originally engineered the human race, and we come directly from their own divine lineage, we belong to them, and we are their workers. And the reptilians have come here and are confronting them. They're fighting. From their perspective, they do not even see us humans as lowly slaves, but rather view us as something far more insignificant, like a common housefly or perhaps a tiny buzzing mosquito that is barely worth their notice. And they want us to stay in this exact state so they can continue to maintain their absolute dominance over us. Now, if we take a moment to carefully look at these spiders, we can see just how many intricate lines of silk they are currently spinning. It keeps spinning until it completely surrounds me, even inside my own home. This means being trapped, imprisoned in the matrix. We don't see these things, but every day we're wrapping these spider webs around ourselves so much that we can barely breathe. It is not their desire to see us dead. They want us alive, but as subjugated prisoners held in eternal captivity, alive yet completely hopeless and utterly worn out. Because that is exactly how they sustain themselves, by feeding upon our very essence. They are certainly not of our kind, but they are fundamentally dependent upon the human race, and because they need us so desperately, in order to enslave us, they have to keep us unaware. So who are the ones who become dull and pale in the next phase? Their servants. Groups that work for them, like the Illuminati, like the Freemasons, and so on. There are different levels and branches within these groups and within this network. There are thousands of them. And then there are other threads, other branches, until we reach at that exact moment where they completely surround us and we finally recognize them for what they truly are. They are just these scarecrows and lifeless puppets. They are merely the silent puppets performing in their own elaborate puppet show. Now, some people are aware that they're working with them, while others are unaware and have been deceived. It's possible. A general in the army might do this and then later realize that the war he's fighting is a war against humanity. It's not for patriotism. There shouldn't be nations. There shouldn't be borders. We are all human beings. Every single one of us is a victim of the great powers. And we ourselves don't even realize that every day these spiderweb threads are wrapping around us, and our minds, our hearts, our children, our lives, our entire homes are being covered by them. But the good news is that Pluto has come to destroy all of this. In the next 20 years, Pluto will cause an upheaval. Nothing but honesty will remain in the world. The era of Aquarius and Uranus and Gemini will destroy these things over the next 7 years. These things, because the age of Pisces is over. We are no longer humans who were like monkeys. We are now confident human beings. They transformed ancient primates into the human beings we are today. But now, we can finally become fully conscious, arise from our long and deep evolutionary slumber, and uncover the profound truths of our existence. Don't go looking for a party. Don't look for, it's just like when you look and say, I belong to this party and my brother belongs to that party. It's like grabbing the root of a spider web and imprisoning myself within it. Or someone else does the same thing. Is just as ridiculous. When the third eye opens, we see all of this. We see that these were nothing more than spider webs. It was just a web spun around me. And those central spiders, those wings up there, we can't see them at all. We don't recognize them at all. They, as dinosaurs who are also the leaders of all this, have their place underground beneath the earth. They have their own strict and uncompromising set of rules. But fortunately, the benevolent extraterrestrial beings who have successfully escaped from them, they have found a safe haven with us here. They support us. And I have previously talked about those extraterrestrials like the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, and 7 or 8 others that I mentioned by name. All of them. We have their support, and most importantly, we have the Galactic Federation. What is the Galactic Federation? It's like a government that we have here. Its form, we have it high up in the vast sky, and they govern absolutely everything. Each and every one has a specific representative, and they all have their own established laws. These specific intergalactic regulations are strictly established for those who might attempt to invade a sovereign planet, but the authorities keep the details hidden from the public. They are simply using these mysterious threats as a way to scare people and maintain a sense of fear. I hope that in the future I can talk about these things more clearly. And then, when we gain the ability to discern, with just one look we can tell who is the spider's web, who is attached to the spider's web, who serves the spider's web, and who is unintentionally and unknowingly laboring for those intricate webs, and who is trapped and confined by these very webs. Which is unfortunately the case for the vast majority of individuals living in the world nowadays. If soldiers were aware, not a single soldier would go to war. I hope I can elaborate more on this topic in my future videos. The point is that we need to use our ability to discern, to activate it, because it's become habitual, because it requires the easy way. Let's just keep things quiet today so I can feel safe. Let me eat my food, get through the night, have the kids be calm so I can sleep. They have brought us to this point, even though originally the power of humans, the superhuman power within the first human, is the power of God. They took that from us, and because they are not of our kind. They are spiders, they are cobwebs, they are animals, in the truest sense of the word animals. That means they have tails, but we don't see them because they appear in human form. They are different from us. Their blood is a different color. And they have no soul. We have a soul, we are made of light, we came from light, and we will return to light. We have a soul, we have a head. We are servants of the Creator, and our race is the human race. So I am no different from an American, a German, a Norwegian, or a French person. But those who are in politics, those who are in leadership positions, whether religious, economic, or political, they themselves know they have nothing. When we, with our own discernment, outside the world of the matrix, untie these bonds and separate these spider webs from ourselves, separate them from our minds, which have come with tradition, with family, with culture, with education, then we start to see, not with our 2 eyes, but with the eye of our soul. It's just like how a blind person can't see the star. No matter how much you say the star is very big, but the star is just a dot. In the sky, you get confused. Is the star big or small? A person who is deaf cannot simply see the world like others. A deaf person must learn to perceive everything around them, from deep within their own subconscious mind. And that is why their senses are much stronger. But when our eyes are closed, or we have this darkness that the matrix has put over our eyes, we can't read and we simply can't see. And not to mention, our brains are full of data, wrong data from childhood. From the age of 3, we start giving our own child, whom we love, wrong information because we are unaware, while the child actually knows well, sees well, understands well. With just one look at an adult, they can tell if that person is honest or not. Because they have the power of discernment. Because they haven't been tainted yet, their blood is still pure, it hasn't turned blue yet. So let's look at things from above. Whether this king comes or that minister comes, whether I'm against this republic or in favor of that one, all of these are constructs of a matrix and will eventually disappear. I've never heard this anywhere else, except for myself. But I have faith in what I receive. I've been saying for 20, 30 years that by the year 2030 we won't have a government. It might even happen sooner. We won't have a monarchy anymore. We won't have a republic anymore. We won't have a government with a pentagon or with ministers and all those things anymore. All of it will disappear. We will have communities formed by the people, for the people. To be honest, I haven't heard any astrologer or fortune teller mention this specific point before, but it is something I've always said, and I firmly believe it to be true. I hope that it comes true just as the things I believed in before have come true. But I don't have any logical reason for you. We just have the world that we have. It's moving in that direction. Let's not look at the world only through our 2 eyes and listen only with our 2 ears. The people who live on this planet have neither borders nor conflicts. We are all human beings. All of us as humans seek love, seek light, seek peace, seek comfort, seek prosperity, and we want world peace. We all desire this. Go into your own heart and see what your heart says. Do you really want to fight with someone, to argue with your neighbor, to quarrel with another country, to live in fear of where we'll be bombed next? No, your heart wants peace, wants security, wants prosperity, and all of these exist here with us on earth. Our Creator has sent us to this planet, which is full of abundance, full of abundance. It is the system that has created these things for us. Those who create these wars are the exploiters of humanity, and they are not of the human race because they do not draw energy from the source. They are not nourished by it. Their survival depends on taking our energy. How can they take our energy? Whenever I am in fear, or when I find myself in the depths of despair, or even when I feel guilty, though there is no guilt, as we are not doing anything wrong. Even when we are safe and at peace, we still feel this guilt. They have manipulated the entire nature of what it means to be a human being. And their files will be released very soon. What did they want to do with us? They still even now have plans for us. But I'm saying this, fortunately, our world is moving toward a place where the truths will come out. What is it? It's a war between the forces of darkness and the forces of light. The system is designed in such a way that we remain in hell and are forced out of fear to work and make money. But this issue will also be resolved. There will no longer be this worthless paper money in the world. And all these wars we are witnessing today, all over the world, with all these countries, it's because none of them have any backing and they have to create all this commotion. They start these wars so that money doesn't lose its value, but money will eventually disappear. The energy of the new golden earth world Its scale is measured by the amount of panrami. With the amount of life energy we have, how much panrami do we possess? How much high frequency energy do we have? This determines our position within it. And they take that away from us. With money, with banks, with the life they've created for us, and the miseries, the wars that are just a show for us, everything is a show. None of it is real. Behind the scenes, something else is happening. We work so that they can eat and get fat, all of them. But that era is over. The age of awareness has arrived. The era of 2,600 years, which was an age of ambiguity and lies, has come to an end. The era in which humans were kept ignorant and tortured is finished. The more suffering there was, the more pleasure and survival they had, because their life energy was fed from and taken from this very human race. A unique group that exists only within this particular setting. Various powerful organizations have worked tirelessly just to take our very genes, transform them, and then inject them into themselves for their own gain. All the horrific atrocities that are currently happening across the globe will be fully and completely exposed by next year, and none of those people we know, especially those who sit high up there in power, are innocent. Absolutely none of them. And all of this hidden truth will finally become clear to ordinary people everywhere with the long-awaited arrival of the age of Aquarius. I declare right here, boldly and without hesitation, that in the coming years, whether it be those who consciously manipulated and changed human thought and belief through the mainstream media and the news, or those who unconsciously imitated them and made a profitable business out of it, every single one of them will be exposed to the light. And 100% fascist systems, ancient monarchies, modern republics, brutal dictatorships, and all religious and oppressive political leaders, all of them without a single exception, will fall forever, and the entire old system will be utterly destroyed. This is not just about one or two specific countries. This is about the whole of planet Earth and every living soul upon it. The Earth itself is evolving. Its vibrational frequency is rising rapidly, and there is simply no place left for these fascists and cruel oppressors. All this worsening chaos we see, the increasing wars and the growing corruption, is happening because they know they are delivering their final desperate blows. They themselves are fully aware that their time has finally run out. All the masks will be removed from everyone's faces, and the truth will become clear, transparent, and obvious to all of us. The era when, like in Plato's cave, people were prisoners of their own making and afraid of their own shadows has come to an end. The exploitation of humanity is ending. No matter how they chose to treat us as lowly prisoners and helpless captives, it didn't change who we were. So after the banks close, the stock market crashes, the internet is cut off, the dollar drops to zero, we have problems with electricity and water, and there are food shortages. Don't be afraid, all of you. Consider this as a kind of awareness, a sweet song and melody that is coming from behind the scenes. Think big. Look toward the bright future ahead of us. In order for us to successfully build a beautiful golden land, the complete destruction of these old things is absolutely necessary. When money no longer has any real value in our world, please don't worry about losing it. We will have plenty of fresh water to drink. We will have healthy organic food to eat, and the entire earth will be full of wonderful blessings for everyone. And these standards that for thousands of years have brought us suffering and misery, that have pushed us to psychological and physical limits, all of them will disappear. Our sons and daughters, our dear relatives, and our loyal supporters from many other lands will come here to help us, and together we will rebuild everything. We will build it all once again. These magnificent and grand palaces will be for everyone, for every single human being living on this earth, not just for a privileged few sitting high up there to enjoy, while making the rest of us their slaves. As a conscious and aware soul living in this current era, which is truly one of the darkest and saddest times in history, we must stand by and witness the slow and painful disappearance of everything that we once so deeply believed in. I promise you that an infinitely wonderful life awaits us. We are the architects of the golden earth. We will rebuild, and this rebuilding will be strong and based on justice, not like before, but built on the foundation of truth, far from exploitation, far from injustice, and far from the enslavement of all people. As children of the Creator, as our children on earth, we are all one. And then the radiant light of hope will rise from those very countries that have endured the greatest hardships and suffering. And this is precisely and undeniably the deep-seated fear and profound concern that they have today. Those individuals who start wars and those countries that have never truly experienced peace within their own borders act this way because they know the seat they're sitting on is shaking. They are fully aware that their era is coming to an end. When you yourself are at peace, you don't go looking for fights with others. Those who know there's no longer any real backing for their money, that their time is up, and that their expiration date has long since passed, they know it deep down. And that's exactly why they create more chaos, they stammer more, and they try to scare people more, simply because they are fundamentally weak. A truly strong person neither threatens others, nor invites countries to war, nor tries to frighten the world with bombings. These are clear signs of weakness in countries, even if they're presented as great powers to the whole world. This is the time of their inevitable collapse. Why are cryptocurrencies and this entire movement? Why did they create digital currencies? Because for years they've known that money is losing its value, because they don't trust their own money or the power they've built, which was only ever about words and force. They no longer believe in it.